See some folks starting to join. Thanks everyone for jumping on today. We will get started at the top of the hour, so just hanging out here for a couple minutes. Thanks everybody who's continuing to jump on here. We're just waiting till the top of the hour and we will get started. A couple more minutes. Thanks everyone who's continuing to jump on. Got another minute here and we'll get started at the top of the hour. All right, I have the top of the hour, so let's go ahead and get started here. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. We are covering Start Detonating, VMRay Sandbox Analysis, now in PhishER, and we're excited to have you join us today. As phishing attacks continue to evolve with techniques like fake CAPTCHAs, QR code phishing, and multi-stage delivery chains, security teams need faster and more reliable ways to investigate threats. Today, we'll show you how the VMRay integration with KnowBe4 PhishER brings automated, deep analysis directly into your workflow, helping teams to make faster, more confident decisions. You'll see real-world attack scenarios, learn how the integration works, and hear directly from the teams behind the technology. Thanks again for being here. And with that, I'll turn it over to Andre and Victoria.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining. My name is Andre, and I'm one of the product managers at VMRay. And yeah, I guess I immediately pass over to Victoria.
Wonderful. Thanks, Andre. Yep, my name's Victoria. I am from the KnowBe4 side. I'm the product manager for PhishER. So that's going to be part of my spiel today if you want to go to the next slide, Andre. Perfect. So how I like to kick these off is just what issue and what problems are we trying to solve in the real world. So as we know, phishing attacks are changing. They're on the rise even since 2022. It's gone over 1,265%, and especially with the AI era. So the battlefield has changed. AI is lowering the bar for attackers. They're smarter, more personalized lures, they're harder to detect, and they're spanning new attack vectors. So it's basically a different threat landscape. So next slide for me, Andre. So with all these new attacks, if you just have a security mailbox, you're just going to get all these reports. It's going to be a lot of noise, and you have to manually triage these. So we call this the sock trap. So the reality is you have to manually triage those hundreds of reports. Alert fatigue sets in fast. Real threats sit in inboxes for hours, and there's automation without context, and that just creates more noise. The cost of this and the issues that can come from this is threats spread while you're just still triaging. The user trusts and process erodes, and this breaks down your security culture. So with these threats, we want them to be less than an hour. Normally, with the pie chart here, it might be a little hard to see, but I believe that's 29% of people have that under, and we want that to be 100%. So we want to do this with PhishER, because right now, 31% of teams, it takes 5 hours to respond. So with that, we'll go on to the next slide. So this is where PhishER comes in. It's an incident response platform. So instead of just having that security mailbox, it's going to basically replace that, and it's going to have proactive protection, human verified intelligence, automated remediation. And this is going to be a lightweight, scalable platform. So if you want to go to the next slide for me, please. So how does PhishER work? What is this process? So it all starts with the user receiving an email. So this, after it goes through your spam filters, after it goes anything on the inbound security side, your user reports the email. They either think it's a threat, sometimes it could be spam or clean. So that email is sent to PhishER. So from that point, we have rules that tag the email. So this can be either clean, spam, threat. In our case with VMRay, if you send it to VMRay and they deem it suspicious, malicious, low risk, we'll get more into that. That is something the rules do as well. So the third step is how you disposition it. So we have actions that you create, and this basically deciphers whether it goes back to the user as clean, whether it's a threat that you have to block, rip, or flip from the user's mailbox. So the blocking is you can add that to your 365 block list if there's a domain that is deemed malicious and you want to add it straight from PhishER to Microsoft 365, you can do that. We also have PhishRip, where if one user reports a malicious email and 100 users got that same email but they didn't report it, it'll also rip it out of that email. And then lastly, you can create a phish flip campaign with that malicious email where you could see who would actually clicked on that email and create more of that security culture. So next slide, please. So we have many good features. Like we have our global, like I was mentioning earlier, our global block list, global PhishRip. That uses our threat intel team with the block list and PhishRip. Phish flip for those phishing campaigns. And we also have our own machine learning that deems those emails clean, spam, and threat. But we can't do everything. So we have some key integrations. So with that being said, I don't want to steal Andre's thunder, and I'll pass it on to him.
Thank you very much, Victoria. And speaking about VMRay and speaking about who we are a sandbox. Basically, we are the sandbox for PhishER. However, that's obviously not the only use case for us. We are out there on the market for about 15 years already. We have started with pioneering in the sandboxing space. We do have a lot of customers that use us for different use cases, starting from manual incident response and threat research, down to EDR alert enrichment, phishing triage, and the one that is mostly popular in the recent years is the threat intelligence extraction and generation. In terms of what you can submit to us and what you can get out of us, we can parse your files, we can process your URLs, or even whole emails, like it is in case of PhishER. As a result of our analysis, we produce a definitive verdict whether what we got is a threat or something that is benign. We do produce a lot of data, starting from memory dumps and finishing with IOCs, and so on and so forth. We are obviously not the only sandbox out there on the market, so I definitely need to make a stop and say why exactly VMRay is different. I don't want to turn it into the single vendor presentation, so that's probably the last slide where I'm speaking about why VMRay is so great. What I want to say here is, first of all, we built VMRay having in mind that lots of threats now are very much evasive. And to tackle that problem, we have two solutions. The first one is architectural. We are hypervisor layer based, and that means that we do not anyhow modify the VM where we execute the payload. Thus, we are invisible even if there are any checks like time forward or questions around what's the size of the memory and so on. The second one, we pay a lot of attention to the behavior that our artificial user that we have within the system, who clicks the links, who opens the files, and so on. We look into how exactly he or she behaves, and that allows us to beat even most evasive malware. Then the second reason, we are capable of revealing even most complicated attacks, and we will have something like that in the demo, because we really go down the whole attack chain. We recursively detonate all the actionable content that we received during the analysis. So if the file has a QR code inside or like a link inside, we will detonate it recursively. We produce a very clean and clear report with a lot of threat intel that is included in it, but we will see it in the demo. I'm not spending time on that as well. And finally, we are very much privacy oriented. Our customers, lots of our customers are big organizations that value what and how happens with their data. For that reason, we have a complete data separation in between our customers. We do not anyhow reutilize your data and so on. In the current very uncertain time, that's something that our customers value a lot as well. And switching back to Victoria's narrative, like why us? PhishER is great already, and it does a lot of good things with the email once it's received. We do a little bit extra work on the artifacts that are located within emails, namely files and URLs. We grab the whole email from the PhishER. We would extract all the attachments and URLs out of there, and we will detonate them to supply you with extra intel on what was inside the email. And in case an email is really a threat, to generate IOCs that you can reuse later on within the security stack. Why is it so helpful, especially today? The reason is that when we see and like look into the phishing landscape, we see more and more that the old-fashioned phishing is that it's not anymore like you receive an email, there is a link there, you click on it, bam, please enter your credentials. Usually the credit harvesting page is hidden behind one or several decoys. There can be attachment with QR code that leads you somewhere. There can be captcha gate in between. There can be a fake voicemail that you like don't even think that this is a phish attack initially. There is click fix, there are malicious SVGs, and many other techniques that we see day to day. Like I said, they usually do not stay within the initial part of the message. You need to act with it to get to these extra steps and look and use and generate some extra data based on them. To give just a quick example, this is one of the emails that I have recently received. You don't have like really much of the data here, just someone has shared a file with you, which is a PDF. I obviously clicked on it since I'm one of the researchers within the company as well. And it immediately led me to some, I think it was a Dropbox or some other public service where there was a PDF, nothing inside, nothing bad inside, just one hyperlink, which was open URL, which I clicked obviously as well, which has redirected me to fake CAPTCHA web page. And then after I clicked it, there was another fake CAPTCHA, different this time, not Cloudflare, but custom one, press and hold here. And then there was a fake Adobe Sign page. And finally, after I provided some fake address there, I landed up at the Microsoft login forum. The point here is, again, pretty often phishing and credit harvesting does not start with the credit harvesting page immediately. You need to do several steps in this chain to really prove that you are a human. And we do that for our customers. We do it for our customers because, first of all, that will allow you to make more confident decisions. But secondly, what if someone has clicked? You can delete the message, but since someone has clicked already, you also need to respond fast. You need to think about how to respond. And we help security teams with that by bypassing all these verification steps. This email was fully detonated in VMRay, by the way. We bypass all these decoys. We detonate every single piece, and we return back not just the verdict, but also a lot of useful data that you can send to the next generation firewall to block certain C2s or places where PowerShell scripts are downloaded. You can block hashes and so on and so forth. Let's speak a little bit about the integration between PhishER and VMRay. Like I said, we are a sandbox for PhishER. It's pretty simple to set the whole thing up. We do have a demo where I will quickly show that, but generally the whole workflow takes you like 5 minutes to set up. You need to have account in PhishER and VMRay. VMRay has the ability to provide the cloud accounts as well as on-prem if you are on-prem farm. We have a data center in the US, so your data does not leave any premises of the United States. To set up the integration, you just need to get your VMRay account, open it, go to the analysis settings, provide your know before URL, and then provide the API token for the PhishER. Basically, that's it. You don't need to do anything else. Again, we will see it within the demo. Then every email that will come to PhishER will be automatically pulled by VMRay. We will pull the whole email file because we believe that sometimes malicious URLs can be in very unexpected places, to be to be honest and precise. We will detonate every single piece of actionable content out of there. We will look into this carefully. If there is a chain of objects, we will go down this chain, and then we will ship back into the PhishER all the data that we have generated, like the verdict, the threat name, if the email was found to be a threat, the link to the full report that you can use to pivot to VMRay and look into even more analysis details if you want. That's how it will look like in PhishER. We will add tags and that are VMRay related, and I guess Victoria will then also tell you how to reuse them if you want to go into automation based on the VMRay data. And like I said, in the discussion notes, you will get the link to the full report that will allow you to see even more data, and we will get there in a minute. What I also wanted to say, and that's something that like really doesn't pop up often when you think about speeding up triage and meeting this 1 hour time frame that Victoria mentioned is that you may decide that later on you want to go into investigation about an incident because somehow within the company you were able to connect the dots and you found that the attack started from that phishing email. The problem is that most probably the whole phishing website will be down already. So you will get just the initial URL and that's it. No data out there. With the integration we got and with the way we work when VMRay detonates everything as soon as it arrives to PhishER, chances are much higher that we will do the analysis of the web page while the golden hour has not passed yet, while the website with threat harvesting page is still on, and thus we will grab all the important data that you might need later on for your investigation. That's something that comes as a bonus, but we see many security teams really valuing that, having all this attack data within the golden hour saved and at your disposal in case you need it. Enough slides. I'm going into the demo where we will take a look at the chain that starts with an email, with the PDF attachment, which contains a QR code, and then it turns out to be a click fix attempt. But before I go into that, can you see still, sorry, can you still see my screen, by the way?
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. So as promised, first of all, how to set up the connector. And again, you need to have a VMRay account for that, but to get it, we do have all the data at the end of it. I think I didn't put Tucker's email on my slide, but I will do this live. Okay, so how to set up the connector? You just open your VMRay account, you go to the analysis settings. There we have a know before connector, and since I do have one, I will not create another. You need to give it a name, like I said, your know before account URL, and then the API token that you generate for PhishER. Then you also need to define how often do you want to do this analysis. How often do you want to pull emails? By default, I think it's about 10 minutes, but for the purposes of the demo, I have decreased it to 3. Then there are some settings that you might want to adjust, but you can also keep them by default, not necessarily needed to be adjusted. And again, 5 minutes, you're done. Yeah, let's jump into the email that I wanted to share with you today. That's an email. Obviously, we cannot share the real phishing here, so I have generated a funny one with like a common phishing emails. We got some update from HR. I'm receiving that more or less every month. I mean, not from our HR, but from some threat actors. And there is an attachment in it. The attachment looks like it's yeah, it's something about remote work with the QR code in there that I need to scan in order to acknowledge the fact that I have made myself familiar with the updates. And then this URL, please do not scan it. It will lead you somewhere. So if we go to the PhishER console and open up this email, which was reported by one of the users, we will see that the email was submitted to VMRay. It was found to be malicious, but also it was scanned by the VirusTotal. Again, the moment when you need a sandbox is when you are dealing with something unknown. It's the moment when no reputation is available on the sample. Not that you are a patient 0, you can be a patient 1 as well, but it's very important to think about what would happen if there is like no real intel yet on my case. And that's where VMRay helps you. As you see, we have submitted it to VMRay. It's found to be malicious, even though the QR code was well, obviously correctly identified by PhishER. VirusTotal didn't have any data on it. Let's pivot to the same email and look into how we see it in VMRay. That's the analysis that I'm looking at, and we see already that the whole EML was found to be malicious, and we see that the reason why it was malicious is this attachment, the HR Handbook 2026 update.pdf. If we go into this one, we will see that we did analysis on the PDF file itself, and the PDF is okay. There is nothing wrong with it. Obviously, my local AV agent didn't, or like EDR agent, it didn't detect any threat because it's not anyhow connected to the nature of PDF file. No vulnerabilities exploited, and so on. The reason is that it has contained a QR code. And yeah, that's exactly what we see here. We have extracted a URL from QR code, and that URL was found to be malicious. If we go a little bit further on, we will see that, and that's the URL, we will see that, yeah, the analysis for the URL says that it is malicious because it's a possible page-jacking attempt. Page-jacking is another word for the click fix. So we are dealing with the click fix here, then several other reasons why we believe that's a threat. A good thing about VMRay, we do not just give you the verdict. We do not just say this is bad. We give you explanations, and all these explanations can be checked. Let's go into the web analysis and make sure that I'm not lying to you. And there is a redirect here, and here you go, a typical click fix web page where you are expected to say, yeah, I'm a human. Click on, in this case, you need to open the PowerShell admin and then paste what's in your clipboard there. In case of VMRay, we did not just stop here. We also looked into the bottom line. We have extracted the content of the clipboard. We have saved it as the batch file and detonated it recursively as well. But let's look into the results of the analysis here, and namely into IOCs that VMRay has generated based on this analysis. We have generated 6 different IOCs here. The most interesting one is, I would say, this one, because that's an initial URL. And if later on, because of VirusTotal update or any other reputation service update, you find that this URL was malicious, that's an initial URL. I think it even not initial, but it's a redirect. But okay, this URL will be found to be malicious, maybe even on the VirusTotal. However, this one, the C2 address or the place where you download the PowerShell script from or something else would never appear. Oh yeah, we have reached out to that URL, would never appear in any other place if you don't go into detonation and do not try to open this URL manually. So again, imagine a case when this is the email that you've got. One of the users reported it. You successfully delete everything after you found out that the email was malicious. But what if someone clicked in the middle and went through this whole chain and got infected and so on? What about the case when someone opens it and still hesitating whether to hit the Control-V and hit Enter? You want to respond immediately. You want to block the possibility to get data from here or send something to this URL. This is the data that you can reuse in your next generation firewall, in your EDR, and so on, in order to protect even more users if they were affected by that email already. So summarizing the demo, in this case, we were able to pivot from the initial email to the malicious attachment to the QR code within this attachment, which we have resolved as a URL. and then down to the payload that was generated out of this URL. We do have all this data available. You can reuse it within your security stack, and obviously we have provided all the data about the verdict of the sample, which is malicious, about the threat name, which is a click fix in this case, air traffic, that's a special sort of campaign here, and the link to the full report, which we just saw if you want to go into details and look into all this. Like I said, extra data, extra value, more confident decision here. And I guess I need to switch back to the presentation and pass it over to Victoria, and she will tell you how to get even more out of this.
Yeah, thanks, Andre. Yeah, with VMRay, it's just incredible because we don't have any sandboxing of PhishER. So if we like with PML, we'll deem something like clean spam or threat, but we don't give the insight that this company does. So it's pretty incredible. So that's why I'm super excited to get into how you could automate with a VMRay. So if you want to go to the next slide with me, please. So it's actually pretty simple. It's only going to be 4 steps. So step 1, you go into your PhishER console and you go to the settings, which is going to be on that left nav there. I should put an arrow, that's on me. But if you want to go to the next slide. Yep, so step 2, you're going to add VMRay tags. So when you go to actions and you create a new action, this is where the automation. So I always say it's a 2-step process. You have part 1, the rules of tagging the email, which VMRay does for you. And then step 2 is creating that action. So with this, you set up the action, you give it a name, you describe what it is, and then you're going to want to do the specified tags. And if it has all, any, or only VMRay suspicious, that's when we could kick off that automation. So as we go on, the second step is you can decide what status, priority, or category you want to set it after this has been tagged. So if you want to go to the next slide for me, Andre. So with this automation as well, you can decide whether or not you want to send an email to the user. Like, for example, if you use the VMRay suspicious and it was, they did report a malicious email, you could say, hey, thanks for helping our company. People like you save the day, just to boost that security culture. You can do that automatically. So with that, we'll go to the next slide. So step 4, this is going to be the last step. This is something I always recommend with these automations, to rip and flip. So like I mentioned earlier with that phish rip, where if one email was reported and VMRay deemed that as a malicious email, that is something where you could rip all other emails that were also associated with this email. If it was like a real life phishing campaign, it'll rip it out of those user mailboxes as well, and it'll do it automatically. And then with this as well, you can flip this message to see, like I said, who would actually deem it a threat and who would actually click on it. So there we go. And then that's in step 7. So 4, 5, and 6 is just more workflow. Like, do you just want to click and remediate manually? So the big ones are going to be step 1 through 3 and 7 to get that automation. And then that's it for that. So pretty simple. So if you want to go to the next slide, Andre.
Absolutely, Victoria. Thank you so much. So summarizing what we've just talked about, with PhishER, you get a great phishing response platform that allows you to do a lot of different things about the reported emails already, and also build up your workflows and foster the security culture and so on. With VMRay, as an addition to PhishER, you can go even one step beyond. You can get data not from the initial email, but also from the artifacts that were found within the initial email, that will give you like even faster triage and shorten the response window, that will give you more clarity on the attack chain, which is pretty important these days. Again, not because you just want to learn it for your own interest, but also because that's data, and everything is about data today that you can reutilize, that you can, by the way, correlate with your threat intelligence feeds that your CTI team acquires from different security vendors. We will just expand this data set from every phishing email that you see out there. And yeah, it will make your responses more confident, not just within the PhishER, but also within the rest of the security stack to help the rest of the company to stay safer. Victoria, you want to add anything here?
I would say, these two products, they're better together. It's with PhishER, we have that initial ingestion, but with VMRay, it's really closing that loop to establish what could be a potential malicious email and, saving your company loads of time and money with the incident.
Thank you so much. And yeah, as a wrap up, how to start and what to do next. If you want to go into URL, I wasn't allowed to put a QR code here because that might get, I mean, we are speaking about phishing here. We shouldn't post QR codes for you to scan. So there is no QR code. Apologies for that. But in case you're interested, you always can contact Tucker. Tucker, if you can just leave your email in the chat, because yeah, that would be the best, I think. Just contact Tucker to get an account at VMRay. Setting this up will, like I said, take just 5 minutes of your time. If you want our help, if you want any further explanations, we would gladly book a session for you. It will be, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes more if you want to learn more about VMRay, obviously, and about other places where we can help your SecOps team or CERT or like even CTI. And yeah, start enjoying extra data and even more powerful combination of these two amazing products.
Great. Thank you so much. Just as a follow-up, everyone, I will be sending an email out with the recording. It'll come directly from my email address. If you have any questions, you can reply directly to that. If you want to learn more about VMRay or KnowBe4, just shoot me a reply. I will connect you with Andre and Victoria, and we'll be happy to help. We'll hang out here for a few more minutes. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. If not, thank you so much for joining, taking some time out of your day to hang out with us on the webinar. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, we'll hang out for another minute here. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. A quick question. Do you have to use PhishFlip?
Oh yeah, the answer to that is no. So with everything I mentioned, it is totally up to you. It's optional. We just have those options there for you. It's just a checkbox. We don't automatically enable it either. So you do have to go and enable it. So yeah, nope, all optional.
Alrighty, last call for questions. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. If not, we will conclude the webinar. Thanks, everybody. All right, thanks everyone for taking the time to jump on today. We really appreciate it and hope you can join us next time. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Oh, really quick. Sorry, guys, if you're still here, maybe. One quick last question. Do you have IP geo selection?
PhishER does not. Don't know.
What's that?
Yeah, I don't.
A lot of
Oh,
okay.
IPGeo. IPGeo. We do have the possibility to reach internet from different countries. To fully answer your questions, we do have it in two stages. First of all, we can use different geolocations to reach out to the internet when we do analysis. But secondly, all of our addresses come from the uh, uh, all of our addresses come from the residential area. We do not use any data center ISPs because it's not just about the geolocation, it's about the origin of the IP address, and we do tackle this problem well as well. So if you want to go from Brazil, you can do it with VMRay. If you want to go from Austria, you can do it with VMRay either.
Awesome. Thank you, Andre. All right. With that, we will wrap up today's webinar. Thanks so much, everyone, for jumping on today. We hope we see you on the next one. Have a nice day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Have a nice day.